What's up, guys? Welcome to another Monday video, and this one is actually going to be My Hero Academia because, well, My Hero Academia came out, and we all know how I love alliteration, so instead of Musical Monday, it's My Hero Monday today because, man, I have been waiting for this season to come out. I'm super excited that it is out, and yeah, let's get started with it. So the first about 4 minutes of this episode have pretty much just been sort of a, hey, here's everything that you missed from last season. For recaps, I don't mind it in this instance because it has been an entire separated season, and to be fair, a lot of stuff happened in the last season. We had All Might lose his powers entirely. We had Shigaraki's kind of become his own character in a way, and in a lot of ways we've got more stuff happening in the world when it comes to villains, because All for One sort of really changed things when he arrived, and even before that, Stain changed a lot of things with his arrival and prompt defeat. Now, in this recap, of course, they focus in on the fight between All Might and All for One, and I get it, he was the big baddie for last season. I do kind of wish if they were going to go and cover a ton, like they went all the way back to the UA Sports Festival and stuff like that, I wish they would have at least showed a bit of Stain, just because while he wasn't the big baddie like All for One was, he was the bad guy that sort of changed a lot of the perspective of heroes, especially when it came to the way that not just the other characters viewed heroes, but the way that we as the viewers see heroes, like All Might and, Izuku Midoriya. You got all these characters who are heroes or trying to be heroes, but only Deku and All Might were seen by him as true heroes because they didn't do it for money, they didn't do it for fame, they did it because they wanted to be the symbol of peace. So I don't know, that's just my kind of ramble about the recap, just because I do wish they would have shown another impactful villain, not just All for One, who was quite the impactful villain. I mean, look how hard he hit the ground. Anyway, they tie the recap in actually fairly nicely into somebody at a news studio watching it on their computer, and they're trying to find the next big scoop. What's the next big scoop? How are things going to happen now that All Might doesn't have his powers? Who's going to take over as a symbol of peace? What's going to happen? And so we get these three who are sort of just trying to clamor and find a story. Then we're introduced to another character. Teneo Tokuda is a freelance journalist, and apparently his quirk is, I'd love to have his quirk, but because I love photography, but yeah, his quirk is lens, which we don't learn until the very end, but it's interesting because he's a freelance journalist who, at the start, I kind of felt like he was going to be sort of not a bad guy, but sort of the antagonist of this episode. I don't feel like he has enough to be an antagonist, or I didn't feel like he had enough to be the antagonist for a large portion of a story, but I thought he was going to be a bad guy, or at least a scummy reporter. But like I always do, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So they introduce him, and he thinks that he has a hunch that the point and the, next it's your turn that All Might says is not directed at villains, because he didn't say it in a way that was threatening. It's directed at his successor. And he has a feeling that with everything that's been going on, with All Might taking up a job at UA and then losing his powers and all of this stuff, he said he feels like he's already chosen his successor. And he's narrowed it into Class 1A because All Might spends a lot of his time specifically with Class 1A. Now, it's sort of, obviously that could be seen as just focusing on the next generation of heroes and the newest of the next generation of heroes, but he also points out that he doesn't sort of focus in on some of the higher, more skilled heroes, especially considering that they're well on their way already. It's just Class 1A. And with this information, and apparently because he's such a good news reporter, he gets the studio to give him access to the UA dorms of Class 1A, and he said he's just going to take pictures and kind of study dorm life, and that was kind of his, I guess, cover in order to get into UA. Now, at this point, this is where I thought that he was going to be more of a scumbag, more of a sleazy reporter, sort of the antagonist of the episode. I thought there was going to be more not goodness to him, if that's a word. But it was actually kind of funny to see him taking all these pictures of daily life with these students, and I just like it. I don't know why. It was just a fun little relaxing segment of the episode. Oh, and before I get too far into that, I actually forgot. Part of the reason why they didn't look at Mirio as an option was because Mirio, I believe he's an apprentice with one of All Might's former sidekicks, and those two don't talk anymore, so that kind of wrote Mirio off. That was actually a pretty big plot point, and I feel like it'll be an even bigger plot point down the road, but I forgot to mention that. So that is something that could play out interestingly down the road. Oh yeah, and Bakugo getting his picture taken was exactly what I would have expected out of him. Now, right towards the tail end of this montage, they do take that as an opportunity to sort of reintroduce all of the characters of Class 1A and explain their powers, which I get. I think it's kind of burned into my brain at this point what everybody's powers are. We've had 4 whole seasons, or well, 3, and starting the 4th season to get acquainted with them. And there's only a few new characters so far that haven't been introduced. One who has been introduced, actually 3 who have been introduced, and one who's kind of been introduced, and one who we've only seen in the openings. Now, I'm going to get into her later. So right now, yeah, just a montage of here's everybody from Class 1A's abilities. But anyway, after this little montage, we have Tokuda sort of reporting back on what he is thinking, who he thinks is the, next in line after All Might. And he brings up Bakugo, he brings up Todoroki, and he kind of gives reasons why they aren't the successor. And after that, he hones in on Deku. And of course, with Deku, I kind of like how they play this up because it just reinforces how deserving he is of the One for All ability. And it's beautifully done, the entire scene, because as he's kind of honing in on the fact that it's probably Deku who is the successor, that's when All Might comes up, and we have a pretty fun little interaction with All Might. So, of course, All Might is just All Might in his No Might form, and so everybody knows what that looks like, so he's going to the store after he had some doctor's appointment thing, which, if they play more into, like, him visiting the hospital and stuff, like, I know he's already been badly injured, my curiosity kind of just has to stick on the fact that he was at the hospital. Is he going to survive, and for how long? That's what I'm wondering. But anyway, he's coming back from the hospital. He was hungry, so he went to get some food, and the shop owner recognized him and just gave him a bunch of food and an umbrella. And so the food that he didn't want, he took for Class 1A and gives to Deku. And, of course, with this, Tokuda takes a picture. But it's this whole interaction and this like, the way that these characters have interacted from the start hasn't really changed. If anything, the only changes that have happened have been with the admiration and respect that each of these characters has for one another. Less of a fanboy and more of a respecting sort of pupil, and less of a teacher while still being a teacher, and more of a friend and a caring tutor in a way, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, Tokuda comes up after All Might walks away, and this is where we get a moment that makes me realize, and makes probably the rest of you realize, that Tokuda is not a bad guy. He's not a sleazy reporter or anything like that. He genuinely cares about the future of heroism in this world, and cares about the future heroes and who will be the next symbol of peace, because we get a story of how All Might saved his father. And it's a really well-told story, and it's really cool because with this story, we see now that there's no hatred, there's no sleaziness. He genuinely cares about who will be the next person in line after All Might, and he's glad that it's Deku because he can say confidently that it will be okay. There will be a bright future for the heroes of this world. There will be another symbol of peace. Because even though there's all of this stuff changing in the world, all this violence that's happening and things moving in the background, we still have Deku, and we still have somebody who is genuinely a hero, which, again, goes back to what I was saying with Stain and the hero killer arc, was the fact that, like, Stain saw Deku as a genuine hero, and it shows, and I think that's part of the reason why I am kind of upset that they didn't bring him up during the recap because he really did change the way that a lot of people in this show look at heroes and a lot of the ways that we as the viewers see the heroes and see the differences between heroes in it for power and glory and money and the heroes in it for genuinely making a difference. But that's all. Anyway, I'm done. Togeda kind of reveals to Deku that he knows that he's All Might's successor, and he shows him a picture, and that's when Togeda's quirk is revealed, which is lens. He can produce camera lenses all over his body and print pictures from his chest. He's like a walking Kodak machine. It's actually pretty cool. Like, I would love to have that ability. Something to take what your eye sees and produce it as a photograph. Like, that's always cool. I love photography, and I'm not going to nerd out about that. Anyway, yeah, so his ability is lens. He took a picture of Deku and All Might together. And, yeah, pretty powerful stuff. But it also means that there's a picture out there. And my first thought was, great, now he has evidence of, well, potential evidence that Deku is the next symbol of peace and he has All Might's abilities. But he doesn't do that. He points out the things that Deku did in the past that make him worthy of being a hero. He, got into UA due to saving somebody instead of focusing, well, he couldn't get points, but he got a ton of points by saving somebody. He ran in and saved Bakugo, even though he had no abilities and his fate was basically sealed to die if All Might hadn't stepped in. And all of these things, for him, tied in perfectly to, well, you are the next symbol of peace, and that is a good thing. And he then takes a selfie with Deku, so that way when he writes his book about meeting the next symbol of peace before he was the symbol of peace, he has a picture, which I just love. So he's writing a book, basically, to talk about how he met the symbol of peace, the follow-up symbol of peace. I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, after the picture, which I thought was hilarious, then we have him leave. He goes back to the new studio, and he says he doesn't really have anything apart from All Might with the steamed rolls that he got. So they took that for the story, I guess, and we're going to make something out of it. I don't know. But he redeemed himself for me as a character because he's not a sleazy news reporter like I thought he would be. He is actually a good standing, not sleazy news reporter who still has his honor, still doesn't reveal Deku's secret, doesn't reveal All Might's secret. And I think that really made him a pretty interesting character to carry this episode in a way because he didn't reveal anything, but we sort of get another person aware of it, and we kind of see how some people can kind of easily piece together that Deku is All Might's successor, and that could also spell some danger down the road for Deku himself, because if people start figuring that out, he's going to have a target on his back, and that's not great. But overall, I think that whole little interaction and the whole character of Tokeda and all of the things we got to see in this episode, I think those were all really cool. I think that it carried a good welcome back story. It's a perfect welcome back episode. But with that, there is one thing that I want to talk about, and I don't exactly know what it's going to play into yet, and I'm genuinely curious to see because we really don't know yet. Well, manga readers know, but we as the anime-only viewers, we don't know. So, in the same way that Fire Force told an entire story with their ending, My Hero is doing the same kind of thing with a character who we actually see in the opening as well. And I don't know who this character is. We had a hint at her in the opening, or in the trailer, and we see her in the opening, which, by the way, the opening, perfect. I love it. It's up there with some of my favorites. I still love the first one. I still love the third one. Fourth one is but I love this one. This is a great opening. And the ending tells snippets of a story. We see her as a kid. We see her in a cage. So I don't know who this character is. And there are several things that are like hinted at, but not seen. Like the fact that her mother disappears for some reason. She's falling with these bandages on. She's got bandages on her. She's got a horn. I don't know what the deal is with this character. I'm curious to see what the deal is with this character, but we don't know. And I have a feeling with her presence in the opening and the ending and in the trailer, I feel like she's going to have some pretty significant plot points. I feel like she's going to be a very significant point in the plot, period. And with next episode, I feel like we're probably going to be introduced to, somebody told me the character's name. Oh, well, duh, yeah, the next episode's called Overhaul. So the character with the giant doctor's plague mask. I feel like we're probably going to get introduced to him next episode, so I'm waiting to see that. But either way, like I said, this was a perfect welcome back episode for the series. I'm excited that it's back. I am pumped that we finally get a new season of My Hero Academia. This will probably fill the hole in my soul for a little while from when Fairy Tail is finally over, but man, I'm pumped to see where this season goes, because they're just gonna get better and better and better if they follow the formula that they have for the last few seasons. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out the link down in the description. And apart from that, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to be there and have a good one. Hey guys, just hopping in at the end here. Thanks for watching through the whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. I do still have merch. I've actually had it for quite a while, but not a lot of people know about it or care. And so if you guys want to support me or check it out just because it looks cool, go to the link in the description. You can see some of the designs I have, like the Steel Frodo in Steins Gate design, or even the Mob Psycho 100 design, and maybe even buy one if you like it, or don't. I cried myself to sleep at night anyway. So either way, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.